apart from Arteta himself, is the key thing that we should all admire at the moment when we stand back and look at Arsenal is their mental resolve.
Yeah.
They're asked various questions at various times, and each time they seem to answer those questions.
Yes. I mean, look, the recruitment of Arteta came with a risk profile attached to it, and it gave me a sort of roller coaster ride of, I think he's got the chops, no, I think he's all talk, and now he's got the groove going because he's been given a period of time and also a lot of support. The change in culture from the ownership after the European Super League has been a massive kick on. You know, I made the accusation about Silent Stan that he was running Arsenal like an arm's length subsidiary of his American businesses, and all of a sudden Eck came in after the European Super League and said, the guy that owns Spotify, I'll buy your football club for £2 to £2.5 billion. And all of a sudden, Stan starts to wake up and look at it. This is a proper grown-up football club. It's proper business. Maybe I need to look at it a bit differently. Maybe also the fact that I've alienated myself and my fan base with my relationship with the European Super League, and all of a sudden you've seen a change in direction. Josh Kroenke's been put in there. He's running the football club on a daily basis with more involvement for the Kroenkes than has been there previously. There's more money available.
Edu's doing a phenomenal job.
Edu's grown into his skin and learnt his trade, and so has Arteta. And all of those things have now combined into a perfect storm. Now, that has to be admired. And they've gone through a little bit of a funk where they lost to Everton, which no one expected, but ultimately they got the Sean Dyche bounce and a passionate Goodison crowd, and one game they didn't turn up for. They got beaten by Man City with a better side. But with due respect to them, Everton and at home and Aston Villa away and Leicester, that are a strange side at this moment in time, are games that I would expect Arsenal to win, even if they weren't pursuing the Premier League.
Yeah.
What I do think now is they're giving themselves more. I mean, after the game against Man City, I looked at it and thought, I think there's a distinct possibility because of this young squad and this young mentality that's pervading the squad that they will win this Premier League, but I think they're going to struggle to win it this year. I still think it's in the balance. I still think it's 50-50. I think if they go to the Etihad, get beat at the Etihad, they're one draw away from Man City taking over again. But Man City are in no rich vein of form. Man City aren't the Man City of old. They're still compelling. They're still carrying an imminent threat in Haaland and De Bruyne. And, of course, Foden back in the mix, operating at a high level. And Mahrez and God knows what other talent they've got is all available to them. They've got a bigger squad. But I still think it's a 50-50 run-in. But I am, as I said the other day with Martin Keown, it wasn't because he was here. If they win the Premier League, we were talking about stories of the season and which manager would be the manager of the season. If Arteta wins this Premier League, no one would have seen it. No one would have picked it when they got pipped to get into the full spot last year by Spurs. No one would have picked them to have gone into ascendancy the way they have done. And it's remarkable because they aren't. If you look at the component parts of Arsenal, they do not have a squad on a pound-for-pound, player-for-player basis comparable to Manchester City. Manchester City have got a better and deeper and more coherent playing squad than Arsenal have got. So it's remarkable what they're achieving.
Well, while you're talking to me, Arsenal played Bournemouth on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you would think, sorry Bournemouth, but you would think Arsenal will carry on where they left off last night. You would think. Then they don't play Manchester City, this big game we keep on talking about, which many people think will be the crunch, until the end of April. So Arsenal have got a very good chance of racking up more points between now and the end of April, and it might be close to be job done.
How many games, and I don't know this, but maybe you do because you just looked at the fixtures, how many games post the Man City fixture have Arsenal and Man City got to play?
We'll work that out. Because
if it's 1 and 2, you may well be right.
It's 5.
5 games. Yeah. See, I still think that's a very big difference between, if they go into it neck and neck with 5 points clear of Arsenal, of Man City. Man City beat them at the Etihad, which is no assumption that they will, but let's just say for the point of this conversation they do. They're down to 2 points. There's 5 games. They draw 1. Man City win the next 5 games. Man City win the league on goal difference. That's how nip and tuck it's going to be.
While you're talking to me, those 5 games that Arsenal have got are Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, Brighton at home, Forest away, Wolves at home.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 games you'd expect them to get points out of. The first 3 they're going to be challenging. Depends what happens to Newcastle in that mix, and depends where Chelsea are, because Chelsea are all over the place at this moment.
You're wavering, though. You're wavering. You said City, but now...
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I've been folding like a cheap pack of cards because I've gone one way and the other, because you're trying to pick the narrative that you wish to follow and stick with it, and then you think, well, actually, there's no point just sticking with it because I said it. I might as well, if new information comes to hand, I might as well bend and twist with the breeze. But the point is I still think that there's such a small margin that maybe if Arsenal get beat by Man City and they go result for result up until the end of May, result for result, match one another's results, right, and get to that game and City beat Arsenal, I still think there's a possibility Arsenal can blink.
Okay, yeah. I go with that to some
I
degree.
hope they don't.
I just think
I hope they don't.
Arsenal's
I'm a
name's on
Londoner.
it.
I'm a Londoner.
I know.
I want the title back in the south. Of
I
course
just
do.
think Arsenal's name's on it.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.